Over here to this ICE detention center. Free Jeanette Vizguerra. I haven't been here in a month or so. I've been traveling and so much going on, but I do know that they're gathering here every Monday. So I thought I'd swing by and see if that was indeed still true. And to my pleasant surprise, there are lots of individuals out here. Lots of cars. I'm hearing songs. I'm seeing gathering. And so, yes, the fight for justice continues here at the ICE facility. So here we go. Hey. All right. Let's see what's happening. They're gathering in.
Oh, yes. And we have an excellent activity going on. We are going to be making poppies. So, if you are interested in making a poppy, you can see M holding one of them up. We'd love to have you make one. We are going to be leaving those outside on the fence here. So, we will have a time specified where people can spend a couple minutes making them now. If you're someone who's like, I just want to make one now and avoid the rush, go nuts for donuts. All right, so like I said, kind of the way that this program is going to work today is we're going to do a song, then we are going to do a Jewish prayer, and then we will hear from one of our community speakers. And then we'll repeat that cycle over and over until the program is done. So, the next prayer that we will be doing is called Via Hafta. Via Hafta is kind of like a call to action, and I'll let Amy talk more about it.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, he's saying I love you, we're all hearts.
See individuals in there waving.
That's a great reminder of what Via Hafta is about. It's all about the commitment to love God, the commandment to love God. Yeah, tell me if I'm not holding the mic properly.
Yeah,
anyone?
right on your mouth. Right on your mouth then.
Okay, perfect. But you don't have to believe in God. You don't have to believe in the same God for this to resonate. When I read it, I think about love for the community, and that's why we are all here. Love for community, love for ourselves, love for our neighbors, love for our world, and love for every single person inside. I hope you can hear us. Okay, so I also haven't done this since my bat mitzvah 20 years ago, so and I'm terrible at mics. All right. So, Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha Vishinantam levenecha vidibarta bam Beshivtecha bevetecha uvlektecha vaderech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leod al yadecha vehayu letotafot beinenecha uktavtam al mezizot betecha uvishavrecha Leman tizkeruhu va'asitem ad kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Amy. All right. So I'm going to bring up Luna, who has Jeanette on the phone. Free, free, free Jeanette!
Free, free, free Jeanette!
Joe Biden.
Hi, everybody. Gracias por venir. Thank you for coming, everyone. Ya son 4 meses de estar aquí en este encierro. It has now been 4 months of detention.
Shame!
Da coraje, da frustración ver que el 90% de nuestra gente detenida aquí no tiene ningún crimen.
There's a lot of emotions going on, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, seeing that the 90% of the people detained within the center are accused, or they have no crimes, no real crimes to go ahead and even have them here for.
Shame!
Parte de mi trabajo y de su trabajo es dejarle saber al público que el gobierno ha mentido enormemente al decir que están sacando criminales, porque no es así. Están agarrando madres, padres, tíos, hermanos, abuelas que no tienen ningún delito en su récord.
Part of my work, as well as our community's work, is acknowledging that a lot of the people that are currently being picked up have no real crimes. We're having family members being picked up, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, grandmothers being picked up for no real reason at all.
Shame!
A lo largo de estos 4 meses he podido ver cómo mucha gente, cuando es detenida, el gobierno pone públicamente su foto y están fabricando cargos que nunca han mostrado la evidencia de que realmente tienen esos crímenes o esos delitos.
Along these past 4 months, we've been seeing that a lot of pictures have been taken as well as posted of these people, and crimes are simply just being made up. They are fabricating random crimes and accusing people of things that have never been committed.
Shame!
Aquí en Colorado somos un estado progresista. En esta última semana escuchamos que están tratando de reabrir otras detenciones que cerraron en el pasado para poder encarcelar a más personas, ya que ahora la cuota por cumplir es de 7,000 detenciones por día.
Currently, we're seeing that they're eyeing other detention centers to open up as their quota does keep getting larger and larger, as well as their funding.
Shame!
Otra vez, parte de nuestro trabajo es exigir a nuestros representantes federales que necesitan trabajar más duro, porque es una excusa el tema de inmigración, porque esto está creando negocios billonarios en estas corporaciones que invierten en leyes antimigrantes, que patrocinan las campañas políticas de muchos representantes federales.
During this time, we need to continue to push our federal lawmakers, as this is something that is simply profit of pain. These companies and these businesses make thousands, billions, and billions of dollars. I do want to add on one part that although it is important to push your lawmakers, it is more important to protect each other among community, because as we are seeing, a lot of these lawmakers don't care that we put them in these positions. This is something that we need to go ahead and take care of each other with.
That's right. Yes, I know.
Todos en este momento tenemos un deber moral de hacer algo, de tomar un papel en esta lucha. Mi trabajo aquí es documentar casos que sé que son detenciones injustificadas, sin el debido proceso, sin mostrar los warrants, pero allá afuera también es importante que cada uno de ustedes documente la manera en que están haciendo los operativos de manera dramática y agresiva hacia nuestra gente.
During this time, it is everyone's obligation to go ahead and take a part in protecting our communities. From inside, she is documenting as well as capturing stories of people that are being unjustly detained. Out here, we must also document, but more so just be at the forefront, protect our neighbors. I understand it's a bit scary, but we've seen how history can go ahead and evolve, and we know exactly where we're standing now and how we can go ahead and help. We've had we have layouts, we have blueprints to base ourselves off of.
Nos queda mucho trabajo por hacer. Yo estoy entrando en esa etapa ya de cansancio, de frustración, de ansiedad, de querer salir y seguir trabajando para mi comunidad. Que ya estoy entrando en esa etapa de cansancio, de frustración.
She's currently entering a phase where it's a bit more, there's a lot more anxiety. You know, you're getting a lot more tired. It's been 4 months where you're locked in the same room with the same 24 women. You're limited to a certain confined space. You're limited to a certain yard time. You're limited to where they control your meals, they control your visitation times, they control everything you do.
Como lo hemos denunciado a lo largo de los 16 años que llevo peleando mi caso, este lugar no tiene regulaciones, nadie está supervisando que tenga las condiciones adecuadas, la falta de atención médica que sea buena para las personas, también cómo está la salubridad en la cocina, mucha gente enferma aquí del estómago, de las vías respiratorias, ya que el AC está prendido 24 horas al día, 365 días del año.
During my 16 years here, I have seen that the conditions have not evolved, they have not gotten better. There is no real oversight on this detention center. A lot of the meals make people have stomach problems. The medical care is not proper, as well as the AC is on 24/7, 365 days a year. There are a lot of things that are unjust, conditions that people do not deserve to live in, and they're currently living in it.
También tenemos que seguir denunciando que cuando tratamos de hacer algo aquí adentro, por ejemplo, cuando fue la marcha de No Kings, los hombres entraron en un motín en solidaridad y 14 de ellos fueron puestos en confinamiento solitario. Son parte de las represalias que toman aquí adentro a los que seguimos luchando.
We must also denounce the repercussions that are that happened within this detention center during the No Kings March. The men went ahead and took a stand as well as were in solidarity, and during that time 14 of them were put in isolation.
Como dije al principio, la mayoría de las personas que son detenidas no tienen ningún delito criminal, pero muchas veces por no tener el dinero para poder pagar una fianza o para poder pagar un abogado, han estado pidiendo su deportación. Es parte de lo que obliga el gobierno a hacer a las personas prácticamente autodeportarse por no tener recursos.
We also see that a lot of our community, due to a lack of resource, they are basically pushed to self-deport. And we're also seeing that a lot of the people that are choosing to self-deport, it's not the case. They're being moved from facility to facility for these companies and these prisons to continue making money off of them.
Shame.
Pero también quiero agradecer que durante estos 4 meses no han dejado solos a mis hijos, que han estado ahí apoyándolos en solidaridad, ayudando también con los costos legales, vendiendo playeras, vendiendo algunas cosas para seguir recaudando para mis fondos legales.
And I do want to go ahead and once again thank everyone that has continued to stand here for the past 4 months, has continued to stand here every single Monday, and has continued to stand with my family personally, going through this as just, you know, your family members would be very, very difficult, but we've had a copious amount of community support, and it definitely has helped, you know, alleviate a lot of what the burden would have been.
Ahorita ya estoy en la etapa final de todos los argumentos que se sometieron a la Corte Suprema del Quinto Circuito. Solo estoy en la espera de alguna decisión de la juez. Espero que sea a mi favor y poder salir y poder abrazar a cada uno de ustedes.
Right now, I am in the final phases of the motions that have been being submitted between our legal team as well as the Department of Homeland Security. We are waiting on the response of the Fifth Circuit Court, and we are all hoping that things are in favor and that sooner than later she will be back out, she will be reunited with her family as well as with her community.
el 10º circuito y tendría que estar otros 3 meses más aquí esperando. Espero que no sea así. Espero que mi comunidad me siga respaldando. Agradezco de todo corazón todo el apoyo y toda esa solidaridad, no solo para mí, sino para todos los detenidos.
If the response were not to be favorable, it would have to have an appeal that is moved to the 10th Circuit Court, extending her timeline there by another 3 months. And if worse comes to worse, she hopes that her community continues to back her, as well as continues to back the other people within this detention center.
Para entender es que todos los detenidos aquí muchas veces no tienen familia y ustedes son nuestra voz. Ustedes como aliados son las personas que nos van a ayudar a denunciar los abusos y las detenciones injustificadas.
I also want to say that a lot of the people within this detention center don't personally have family here, and we serve as a voice for them. We serve as a means of help. Me personally, during visitation, I'm seeing a lot of community coming out at 5 in the morning to come visit families that don't necessarily have the support necessary, and it's very needed. It's something that definitely helps because it's tough being in a situation where you have no one to help you out.
Es bien importante que todos los grupos que han estado aquí cada lunes se mantengan unidos, se mantengan fuertes, de crear esos círculos de protección y de resistencia en las comunidades, crear apoyo de mutua ley alrededor de las familias, porque esta lucha todavía nos quedan más de 3 años y medio, donde va a ser una lucha que va a causar mucho daño, no solo a nosotros los inmigrantes, sino también a muchos de ustedes como aliados, y todos somos parte de una comunidad, todos somos uno.
It's very important that not only the groups, but as individuals, we continue to support each other, help each other through mutual aid in the ways that we can. As working class people, we understand what is necessary for each other, and we must continue to do that.
Quiero agradecer de verdad toda esa ayuda, todo ese apoyo. Quiero estar afuera para seguir haciendo mi trabajo que he hecho por casi 30 años, de seguir apoyando, protegiendo a mi comunidad y seguirles dando toda mi experiencia para proteger a los más vulnerables.
I'd like to once again thank everyone here, and thank you guys for letting me see the fruits of my work over the past 30 years. It's definitely been an up and down cycle, but I'm happy to see that we're all coming together and that we all stand against, what's happening at this time, and we're choosing to protect our family members. That's right.
Sigan compartiendo el CEL y el BEMO para seguir recaudando los fondos que necesito para seguir mi lucha. Espero salir muy pronto y gracias de todo corazón a cada uno de ustedes, y la lucha sigue.
We ask that we continue to share the forms of fundraising, which are the GoFundMe, the Venmo, the Zelle, and that we continue to support our community members in the ways that we can, and la lucha sigue.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Luna.
Thank you, Jeanette.
And thank you very much to Jeanette, too.
Free Jeanette.
Free Jeanette! Free them all!
Free them all!
Free Jeanette!
Free Jeanette!
Free them all!
Free them all!
El pueblo vive, vive. La lucha sigue, sigue.
La lucha sigue, sigue.
All right. Sorry if my Spanish is awful. Thank you. So we've got a lot more people here than when we started. That's amazing. Give it up for yourself for being here today. So, just so you're aware, if you need a QR code song sheet, we've got our wonderful Jensen who is passing that out. is just a QR code so you know all the different songs that we are going to be singing. And if you're someone who is not good at singing like myself, do it anyways, because it's fun, and it's good for your neshama, it's good for your soul. Just a couple of other announcements. So we do have a poppy making activity right over here that M is leading. We will have a designated time where we will be directing folks to make those, but if you want to avoid the crowds and make it now, please go ahead. We're going to be hanging those poppies up on these fences here. You also may notice our little sign over here, and you're probably trying to figure out what it says. So,
Tell them, Alex.
this sign right here, it says Daloi Police.
Hey,
That is an old Yiddish phrase from the 1900s, maybe late 1800s, and it simply means fuck the police. So if you want, we can chant that. So, Daloi Police. Daloi Police. Daloi Police. One of the things that we here in Jewish Voice for Peace try and do our best at is divorcing Zionism from Judaism, noting that Zionism is a violent, racist, and settler colonial movement that weaponizes Judaism, where we at Jewish Voice for Peace say, no, all people deserve to live free and dignified lives, free of occupation, free of deportation, on their indigenous land. And so that is why we make a huge effort to wear Judaica to actions and involve as much Yiddish as possible. Next up, we're going to hear from one of our amazing JVP members, Asa. Asa, come on up.
Hi. And before I get started, I want y'all to repeat after me. From Palestine to Mexico.
From Palestine to Mexico.
These border walls have got to go.
These border walls have got to go.
From Palestine to the Philippines.
From Palestine to the Philippines.
Smash the U.S. war machine.
Smash the U.S. war machine.
From Palestine to Mexico.
From Palestine to Mexico.
These border walls have got to go.
These border walls have got to go.
From Palestine to the Philippines.
From Palestine to the Philippines.
Smash the U.S. war machine.
Smash the U.S. war machine.
ICE, escucha.
ICE, escucha.
Estamos en la lucha.
Estamos en la lucha.
ICE, escucha.
ICE, escucha.
Estamos en la lucha.
Estamos en la lucha.
Sí se puede.
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 Woo! Thank you. My name is Asa. I'm a member of Jewish Voice for Peace. I was also one of the organizers of the Araya Encampment for Palestine. And I'm here to talk about the importance of memory and the importance of movement elders in our struggle. In the Jewish faith, we call these principles Shamor and Zakor. It means to keep and to remember. And whether it's Yom HaShoah or Yom Kippur, the entire Jewish calendar is a protracted expression of remembering and also reinventing. We have to remember those who came before us during all of our holidays and also find new ways of relating to the struggles that our people have had in the past. I was 18 years old when I first met Jeanette. It was one of my first times being involved in a non-student political movement, and it was one of my first times seeing what a real challenge to power looks like. I was fresh out of high school, I was 18 years old, fresh out of my marshal training too, first ever, and I was assigned to marshal one of Jeanette's meetings with Jared Polis in a church where she was taking sanctuary as a principled stance of civil disobedience against unjust immigration laws. And I still remember the way she spoke to him, the way she saw through his whole little entourage and all of his political doublespeak. And I remember as that man was walking out of that room, I pulled him aside for a minute in a rare moment of boldness. I think I was a bit inspired by the way that Jeanette was staring him down. And I said, "Jared, hi. I'm one of your constituents. I'm also a gay Jew. And I saw his face light up a little bit. And I want to say, you are a disappointment to my people. You are a disappointment to this state. And they quickly got him out of there. And that was one of my first moments where I realized these people in power, they are people. And you can make them afraid. And that period of my life was the time where I was really radicalized in terms of understanding what ICE is. A joke I would say at the time as I was talking to people is, which one is older, ICE or Shrek? The answer is Shrek. ICE and DHS are a product of a massive expansion of the surveillance state, the police state, and white nationalist settler colonialism that occurred in response to the War on Terror. We are now seeing a paradigm shift in terms of previous policies that were used to crack down on dissent during the Cold War, now being used as a mechanism of state building and nationalism in the United States. It was in Denver with Jeanette that I first learned that everyone held by ICE is a political prisoner. Everyone. And in the words of Mahmoud Khalil, one of the things he first said when he left the detention facility in Louisiana that he was held in, is he said, I am the wrong person to be held here, but that does not mean that there is a right person. Mahmoud Khalil was incarcerated because of his political speech and nothing else. He was incarcerated in a manner that I think is more overt, that he's a political prisoner. But something I want to make clear as I'm up here today is that there is little difference between the past laws we saw in apartheid South Africa, between the segregation that exists in occupied Palestine, and the racist immigration system that we see here. When I see videos on social media of Israeli settlers terrorizing Palestinian villages in the West Bank, I imagine what it must have looked like when Anglo-American settlers were terrorizing Chicanos that lived in the American Southwest. Dispossessing them of their land, dispossessing them of their homes, taking a border that was artificially drawn after the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, dispossessing people of their land, their culture, their heritage, and relegating them to a second-class status. And I think this history is often overlooked. And so every person who remains on this land or crossed these imaginary borders, every person who is here and is kidnapped by ICE simply because they have the wrong paperwork, they are a political prisoner. This process is fundamentally unjust, this process is fundamentally wrong, and the very idea of citizenship in a nation such as this is in of itself a fundamentally racist thing. The same law that they're trying to use to deport people like Mahmoud Khalil is called the McCarran-Walter Act. It comes from the 1950s. Pat McCarran, one of the authors of the act, is one of the most notorious anti-Semites that has ever operated in legislative history. The law was originally written to keep out Jews who were emigrating to the United States who had Soviet sensibilities. In Vilna, Lithuania, my great-grandmother was a member of the Jewish Labor Bund, a group that popularized that slogan, Daloi Police. She was also first chair viola of the Women's Communist Orchestra. And for that reason, my family was brought in front of the House Un-American Activities Committee. They were fired from their jobs. They tried to deport them. They failed, thankfully, for the most part. But it's in this legacy that I see, when you're stepping into someone else's struggle, it's important that you're a good house guest. For everything that I was learning about the way that ICE criminalizes migration, normal flows of human movement that have existed since time immemorial, I thought that I was stepping into a struggle that was not my own, on behalf of other people who I needed to fight for. And it was only years later, with this escalation that we've seen with pro-Palestinian speech held by migrants, that I realized that this is my history too. And I think it's all of our history, right? Whether or not these laws have been weaponized against you. I mean, everyone has lived through these different eras, whether it's the Cold War, whether it's Operation Wetback, whether it's the Bracero program, so on and so forth. We're all implicated in these things. And I know that it didn't work with my family. They weren't able to be deported, but that is not the case for so many people that are here today. And so I want to bring in these principles of Shamor and Zakor, keeping and remembering, and understanding that Denver is the city where the Chicano movement coined the term Aztlan to describe their cultural revival that was going to occur on this land, recognizing their inherent relationship to this land. Denver is the place where the American Indian movement challenged settler colonialism and was more radical than the other chapters as well. And for me, Denver is the place where Jeanette Vizguerra taught me that everyone held by ICE is a political prisoner. And I want to say another little phrase that that comes from the Bund as well. You'll see many of our chapter members here wearing it on their necklace. It means here-ness. It's called Doikheit. Doikheit is a term that the Bund created to sort of signify their opposition to Zionism. The Jewish Labor Bund were the Zionist worst nemesis, because they said the solution to anti-Semitism is not fleeing to a military stronghold thousands of miles away. The solution to anti-Semitism is making our communities stronger and acting in solidarity with other people, because we're stronger when we're together. And what Doikheit means to me is being a good guest on the land that you live, a good guest in other people's struggle, and a good guest in the movement. And so I'm up here because I wanted to honor my family. I wanted to honor all of the repression that they faced. A wrecking ball was driven through their life by these laws, just like a wrecking ball is driven through the lives of all the people targeted today. And something that I think is so critical in this moment, as Alex was saying, we're in the 3 weeks in the Jewish calendar, the period between Tzom Tammuz and Tisha B'Av. It's one of the most solemn times of the year. It's a time of uncertainty and sadness, and for me, it's always meant a reckoning that there's so much more power in recognizing that there are questions we don't have the answers to. There's ways of fighting that we haven't yet conceived of, and we're going to need to work together in order to find the most effective way to put pressure, not only on our elected officials, but anyone in our community who accepts a job with ICE, anyone in our community who does not actively stop and report a raid, anyone in our community who stands idly by while people who have been connected to this land for eons are kidnapped off of our streets. And a lot of these ways in which we can help migrants, I mean, it's low-hanging fruit, you know? And so I wanted to take my time while I'm up here to highlight another group that I learned about in that time when I was 18 years old, during the first Trump administration. They're called Casa de Paz. They're located in this neighborhood here. Sounds like y'all have heard of them. Casa de Paz does something so essential, which is that when people are taken to this facility, you know, they're not often from Colorado. They could be from anywhere in the country, and they could just be taken here. And oftentimes when they're released, they're kind of just kicked to the curb. They might not know anyone in the state. They may or may not have a cell phone. They may or may not have the ability to acquire travel documents and the ability to get to their loved ones if they have any loved ones here. And what Casa de Paz does is they pick up those people, and they have a house nearby, sort of a staging area where you can see a friendly face, be welcomed by someone who's gonna, you know, honor and respect whatever horrors you might have seen in there, can offer you a warm meal, maybe a backpack to put some of your stuff in, who might drive you to the airport. And I wanted to highlight their work because, you know, there's a phrase, maybe some of y'all know it, everyone wants a revolution, but no one wants to do the dishes. And I see a lot of the work we can do to support migrants as sort of like doing the dishes. It's driving someone to the airport. It's ordering a pizza for them. It's writing a letter to someone inside. And another thing I want to highlight about this facility is that the Aurora ICE facility is the only facility in the entire country that accepts trans people. If you were trans and you were picked up by ICE, you are sent here. And so I think especially those of us that are in the queer community, we need to show up and support our trans brothers and sisters who are in there. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how to do that. Over here, kind of near where some of the other tables are, there's a big-ass red box. And I want to tell you about this box. In my shul growing up, there was also a box, a little red box. It's called a tzedakah box. This is basically a Jewish word for charity, mutual aid, if you will. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to put a little bit of money into it, supposed to inspire the congregation to, you know, do their part, pitch a little bit of cash. And so our struggle is very big. So I thought a little red box would do. We need a big red box. So over on that big red box, you will see a QR code. That is how you donate to Casa de Paz. If you can't donate your time, donate your money. All of us have the ability to pitch something. If we're able to survive, we can throw a little something their way. And if you don't have money to donate, donate your time. There's little handouts on top of the box that detail 3 of the volunteer programs that Casa de Paz runs. Casa de Paz, the ability to write letters to people who are locked in detention and donate to their commissary funds. The Welcome Team, the people who welcome those who are kicked out onto the curb after they've been held into detention. And, I want y'all to read the rest for yourself. That was a little spoiler for you. But please go visit that box. Please see what Casa de Paz is up to. They have been doing incredible work, not just now, but ever since the deportation dragnet was revitalized under the first Trump administration. And the Tzedakah box has a long history. It's how Jewish socialists and communists would fund their strike funds. It's how they would build up the community resources in order to build community defense systems during pogroms on the shtetls. The Tzedakah box is an essential tool of movement building, and so I really want to invite y'all to participate in some of that with me. Do a little doikite for yourselves, right? Now, before I leave you, I have another effort to plug, someone I want to bring up from CWA, who has made an incredible handout that speaks to some other actions you can get involved in the next week. So, can my friend from CWA make your way to the front, please?
Everyone, I want to start with a chant. La policía, la migra, la misma porquería. 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 As Asa, mentioned guests and being a good guest, I was invited up here on the fly, so I won't take up too much time from the program. But my name is Jesus. I'm with CWA 7799. My unit is the Defenders Union of Colorado, DUC. I'm a public defender. I'm a union member. One thing I wanted to let everyone know is that public defenders defend anyone accused of a crime regardless of their immigration status. For now, that is the law. Everyone is entitled to an attorney, to legal representation if you are accused of any crime. And so we've had, over the past months, seen many of our clients detained here, first-time offenders of any criminal charges, deported before their issues are even finished being adjudicated. Shame. Incredible shame. Shipped off in the night. And so I have organized just 8 no-risk actions that people can do after today. These aren't meant to be the all-end-all of your actions after today, but rather just a stepping stone. There are so many different ways for you to plug into this movement after today. There are many different scripts for you to give representatives an earful, but I agree with Luna. Community is the only thing that's going to save us. The Democrats will not save us. The Republicans are here to kill us. And if we don't stand together and continue to be united in struggle, we're never going to get to the revolution that we also know that we need to. And so I encourage you to take a look at these actions. I'm going to be passing them out. I'm going to put them on the red box too. But maybe you want to organize an effort to stop the expansion of GEO in Walsenburg or Burlington. Maybe you want to organize a community meeting about not letting GEO renew their contract in October of 2026. Maybe you want to organize and talk to the city attorney of Aurora about how to stop GEO from renewing that contract for another 15 years. Just some 8 actions that you can take. I'm going to be over here, and once again, thank you again for being here. Free Jeanette!
Free Jeanette!
Free Jeanette!
Free them all!
Free them all!
Free Jeanette!
Free Jeanette!
Free them all!
Free them all!
She's right here.
All right. Thank you very much, Asa. We're going to change our program just a little bit, but first I wanted to talk about something that Asa mentioned, which is this idea of tzedakah. So it comes from the word tzedek, which doesn't mean charity. It doesn't mean tithes. It means justice.
That's right.
Tzedek means justice. And in the Torah, the only 2 words that are ever repeated right next to each other, it's tzedek, tzedek, tirdof, which is justice, justice you shall pursue. That wasn't a typo, all right? That was a very deliberate writing. And so I think of that as the most important commandment in the Torah, whether or not you're secular, whether or not you're Orthodox. Pursuing justice is the highest form of Judaism and is the highest form of activism, and that is what we are doing here today. So next up, we're going to hear from Andrea from Casa de Paz really quickly.
everybody. My name is Andrea. I am the Executive Director at Casa de Paz. Thank you. I won't take up too much time because there was a beautiful talking about Casa already. So if you've been to any of these rallies before, you've probably heard about us. We've been in community for over 13 years now. And that is unfortunately how long we've been around to see people being released from this detention center and also being caught in this detention center. So one of the things that I honestly will just highlight is tonight is one of the most beautiful nights. There's so much energy and flowers, and we've made it such a beautiful commitment and such a community commitment to be here every Monday. But I think we just should be ready for this commitment to be a long-term commitment. And I think a lot of us need to focus on that. And it's not to discourage anybody. It's actually to encourage all of you because you will find community here. And so we need to continue to be here. We need to be here because people are here all the time. They don't get a choice. They don't get a choice. A lot of these people, I saw a sign that said 5 months in detention for somebody. And so, unfortunately, today was a Monday that we didn't have any releases. And that's a shame. Yeah. And that is one of the most eerie feelings after all of that happened that last week with no bonds. So we are probably going to expect a lot of our friends who are in here to be in there longer. And so what that means for them is being abused longer, being hungry longer, being without their families longer. And so that's why I'm saying this fight is going to be a long run. And if it's going to be a long run for us, and then it's going to be a long run for them. So we have to be here for them, all of them, because free them all.
Free them all!
And so that's all I'll say. Thank you so much for donating. There's so many beautiful causes out here tonight, and we have many different ways to connect with people who are on the inside. There are many actions that you can take once you also leave here, and all of them are just as important. The other thing I will highlight is the thing that was said about our trans community. We hold trans women here, and we hold trans men in South Louisiana. So I can't actually imagine what that's like. We just found that out like 2 months ago maybe. And that's devastating. It is such a different reality for these people because these people are now just human beings who are being put into now even more conditions in which they're harmed simply because of who they identify as. And we need your support. We actually are trying to visit with trans women on the weekdays, and so if that's of interest to you, that is also something that is available, and that's something that we are trying to push. That is something that this detention center also does not like. So all of the things that we do, they do random counts for. They're always running late on visits. They are making sure that they are also getting back at the people who are inside. I guess that's just because how miserable they are. But the only thing that we can do is try to make a difference for these people. So showing up here, continuing to fight for them, continuing to show and scream loud for them, play music for them, chant for them, because they remember that they're not forgotten. And honestly, that is the biggest thing that matters when you're inside. And I am not inside, and I have not been inside, but I meet almost every single day people who actually have. And people being out here and feeling like they're not forgotten, that's what keeps a lot of people in here fighting. So give people a chance to fight for another day, and thanks for being out here. Keep fighting on these rallies. Y sí se puede.
Sí se puede.
Sí se puede.
Sí se puede.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Andrea. So we're going to change the vibe a little bit, and we're going to get into a little song. So we're going to have our wonderful friend Al lead us in the song We Rise. This is one of my absolute favorites.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Saul. Thanks, Andrea. I also want to share that we have our friends, our comrades, the political prisoners right here. If this is your first time, who is here for the first time? Thank you. And who has been here more than 3 times? Thank you. Thank you. So we have folks literally right behind this fence, behind these windows, who can hear us. And then behind them are more than 1,000 other political prisoners.
And so as we sing, as we chant for the remainder of our time tonight, I want you to reach the person in the way back, right? And the windows go back a fair amount, and so I'd actually really like those who it's accessible for just to move a little bit so people can really hear us and we can connect to folks right there and beyond, and also to get a little bit more close to one another and out of the street. I know the sun is coming out. If you want some water, we have some water. And I'm gonna, as we move, I'd like you to sing as loud as you can for our friends inside, and to remind them time and time again to reverberate that they are not alone, that we will be here, and that we will keep bringing people here for their first one and until everyone is free. So with that, I'm going to lead us in this song to sing to everyone inside and to each other. It's called We Rise by Batya Levine. And I want you to repeat after me. It goes like this. We rise. We rise. Humbly hearted. Humbly hearted. We rise. We rise. Won't be divided. Won't be divided. Rise. Rise. With spirit to guide us. With spirit to guide us. Rise. Rise. We're going to do that again. We rise. We rise. Humbly hearted. Humbly hearted. Rise. Rise. Won't be divided. Won't be divided. Rise. Rise. With spirit to guide us. With spirit to guide us. Rise. Rise. And this is the second part. In hope. In hope. In prayer. In prayer. We find ourselves here. We find ourselves here. In hope. In hope. In prayer. In prayer. We're right here. We're right here. In hope. In hope. In prayer. In prayer. We find ourselves here. We find ourselves here. In hope. In hope. In prayer. In prayer. We're right here. We're right here. And the words are going to alternate. If you have a song sheet, sing along. And we're just going to keep going and sing as loud as you can so everyone can hear. Ready? We rise, humbly hearted, rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. And we rise. All of the children rise. Elders with wisdom rise. Ancestors surround us. Ancestors surround us. Rise. Come on, y'all, go closer to the window. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. All of the children rise. Elders with wisdom. Elders with wisdom rise. Ancestors surround us. Ancestors surround us. Rise. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. The louder hope, in prayer, we're right here. So the last one, back in the building, can you hear us? Find ourselves here.
There you have it. Every Monday. Right here. They haven't stopped. It's been 4 months. It's a long-term effort. And free them all. Free Jeanette. Free them all. And don't forget, if you go down swinging. You just might score a knockout. Rumble, young man, woman, and community. Rumble.